This week's Corp was brought to you by LinkedIn. Hiring isn't as simple as putting an ad in the paper or posting to a job board. When you're juggling hiring with everything it takes to grow your business, it's important that you reach the right candidates at the right time. That's where LinkedIn comes in. We actually are posting on LinkedIn right now. Barstool always posts on LinkedIn. If you're an employer, you need to be using LinkedIn because over 600 million members visit LinkedIn to connect, learn, and grow as professionals and discover new job opportunities. That's how LinkedIn can make sure your job post gets in front of people you want to hire, people with the right hard and soft skills you're looking for, things like collaboration, creativity, adaptability. LinkedIn does the legwork to match you to the most qualified candidates so you can focus on hiring the person who have a big impact on your business. A hire is made every 8 seconds on LinkedIn. That's happened like 10 times in this ad read. A hire, boom, a hire, boom, every single 8 seconds. With LinkedIn Jobs, you can pay what you want, and the first $50 is on them. Visit linkedin.com/thecorp. Again, that's linkedin.com/thecorp to get $50 off your first job post. Terms and conditions apply. If you're looking for new employees, if you're looking to get connected on LinkedIn, go to linkedin.com/thecorp, and the first 50 is on them. linkedin.com/thecorp. Ty Haney was also brought to you by our friends at Squarespace. From websites and online stores to marketing tools and analytics, Squarespace is the all-in-one platform to build a beautiful online presence and run your business. Turn your cool idea like draftjoshallen.com into a new website with awesome templates created by the world-class designers. They have everything you need to create a beautiful modern website. You can showcase your work, your blog, or publish content with powerful blogging tools to help tell your story and share updates with your readers. Promote your physical or online business, sell products and services of all kinds, and there is free and secure hosting with nothing to patch or upgrade ever, and 24/7 award-winning customer support. Check out squarespace.com/thecorp for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, use the offer code THECORP to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. One more time, squarespace.com/thecorp for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, use the offer code THECORP to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Okay, here's Ty Haney.
You're listening to The Corp, presented by Barstool Sports.
Here we are. Welcome to The Corp, and we are thrilled to host one of the great young entrepreneurs in the entire world. Her name is Ty Haney. She's the founder and CEO of Outdoor Voices. Welcome to The Corp.
Thank you for having me.
Lead us away, Erika.
All right. So, Ty, tell us the story of Outdoor Voices.
Sure, absolutely. I started Outdoor Voices 5 years ago on a mission to build the #1 recreation brand. And the goal here being, how many people in this world can we get moving? I grew up in Boulder, Colorado, super outdoorsy place, played a lot of sports growing up. I was a hurdler, basketball player, soccer player, and loved at the time wearing brands with the credo, harder, better, faster, stronger. Because when you are a young athlete, the goal is to cross the finish line first. I ended up not pursuing athletics through college. And when I went into college, athletics took on a whole new meaning. It was no longer about crossing the finish line first and all about how am I going to motivate myself to get my butt out of bed and move. And so it was after college that I realized there's so many people out here that need that motivation. And it's not going to be motivation around pressure to perform, but really around how do we create a company that approaches activity with moderation, ease, humor, and delight, and brings this idea of play back into adult life. So we're 5 years in. We have 9 stores currently, 5 more coming, and we're having the most fun time of our lives.
How does a young person that comes out of Boulder, Colorado, who is a great athlete and has this kind of passion and vision, but how do you bridge between having that vision to this type of execution?
Yeah. I look back to playing team sports as something that's really been important, and a lot of our team today has kind of that in common, because when you learn how to work towards a common goal with the team, and there is this competitive nature, like, you get really good. So though we are recreational and our kind of mission is for fun, we pursue that with, excellence and the pursuit of progressing and getting really great. So there is this winner mentality, but it's all about personal best versus competing with others. And And so we attack it with that same all-in committedness, but it's attacking the mission around, hey, it's play, it's lighthearted, it's recess, it's fun.
And you've talked a lot about your culture. Tell us a little bit about how you fostered a winning culture that's not necessarily about winning at all costs or winning on someone else's standard.
Yeah, there's this film called Personal Best that Mariel Hemingway's in. And I'm really inspired by it because in that movie, it's all about progress, not perfection. But it's every day I wake up and have the drive to get better. And that's really what we instill and find that our community wants. Like, they want to get better and continue to improve, but it's more about how am I getting better by making myself a happier, healthier person through moving and connecting with people through activity versus lining up on, the track line and trying to make winning my number one goal. So the happiness, I would say, and we really believe that endorphins make you happy, is ultimately what people consider kind of the number one criteria for winning.
When you think about you being the type of leader and CEO of Outdoor Voices, my question is, do you think consider yourself a CEO that is more, you're someone that rally the troops? Are you someone that is really good with P&Ls and running numbers? Or are you more someone that is really more product driven? Sure.
It started with product for me. I was actually running on the West Side Highway right after graduating from school, looked down, and I was out there on a 1.2 mile, very recreationally paced jog, and I looked down and I was still in this outfit that had muscle mapping and neon colors and wanted you to have bigger muscles here than I did. And I was like, there's dissonance in between the outfit I'm wearing and kind of the activity I'm doing. And I said, let me solve for that for me first. So it was a personal pain point that I decided to solve for. And it was around creating an outfit for activity that moved and was comfortable in sweat. So technical materials were key, but was an outfit that had a lot of versatility in it and could go from dog walking to Pilates to hiking, etc. So I became obsessed with learning about how to make the best product for that use case. Started getting that product, it's called the OV kit, it's a top and bottom, on friends, and that drove word of mouth. But I've always been obsessed with product. I think today I'm much more kind of the motivator and the inspirer. And we recently brought on a president and CEO or COO to manage the troops and rally the troops. She's a really strong people leader.
What do you think you've been at this 5 years and you've had, a stratospheric impact in that short amount of time for someone. Really, this is your first real gig. What have been the biggest things you've learned? What's your biggest failure? What's your biggest win?
I was the commencement speaker last night for my high school in Boulder, which was fun. So this is a little bit top of mind, but for me, I think the key to success so far has been try a lot of things and try them early. So going into this with no experience, I had tried a lot of things, but this felt like something I was extremely passionate about. And so I went all in, and I really embraced beginnership. It's cool to be a beginner, and I think people way too soon want to be experts at things. And really not like this not afraid to fail mindset. I think the other piece is creating your own rules to the game. So there's a way that this has been done with kind of the incumbents in the space. And I said, well, I don't have to do it that way. And I've flipped kind of their script, zigged when they zagged, and have created kind of my own rules to the game that are working so far.
So Ty, when you think about changing the rules of the game, take us back to that jog that you were running, that 1.2 miles, and you had this great idea. Most of our listeners have great ideas and they're really smart people. How do you take that from zero to hero when there's a lot of us don't have a lot of capital, right?
Totally. That was hard. So I had this product. I was obsessed with it, had gotten it on Friends. I went to Google and literally made a document with the top New York City tech investors. I would email them, and I was still using my EDU address, which I was not a student by any means, but it got me into the rooms that I likely wouldn't have gotten in by following the rules. Got into all of these different rooms, and I got told no. I had walked in with a product, and the first page of my deck said, I'm building the next great activewear brand. It just so happened that most of these tech investors were men, and what came to mind was Nike and Under Armour. Like, we have activewear brands. There's not a space for more. So I had to rethink my strategy. And I started ahead of these meetings sending product to the wives or the women in the offices. And they would then tell the investors, who were still men at the time, wow, this product's different. And it turns out that women appreciated a woman designing her product that understands boob, butt, and bounce management, you know? And so that was a big kind of learning for me, and kind of where I had to kind of rethink my approach and started getting yeses after kind of that small tweak.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. We had a candidate here who I've talked about before who sent in a pizza box with his resume printed on a pizza box.
Yeah.
And it's like, look, you want to work at the pizza review company. Like you have to get creative about how you get in. And I think beginnership is a great way to describe it. Knowing nothing is almost knowing more than anything.
Totally.
And it makes you fearless because you're ignorant to the rules, which is so important. I also really I'd love you to talk about, just do it versus doing things. Like that, to me, my own personal experience, like I can be very lazy. Like I'm not going to just do it. I will definitely do things.
Yeah.
So talk about how your community is, you've built a community in a place where there's only winners. Yeah. Or formerly there's only been winners. Like talk about that.
Yeah. We've had doing things as kind of our friendly, inclusive call to action to rally community around since early on. And it's been amazing because we aren't telling people this is how you just go do it, but rather we're showing different types of people from all over the world doing activities of choice that end up being the inspiration for the rest of the community to move. So there's a woman in Minneapolis that at the age of 65 went and ran her first marathon for the first time, and there's a picture of her like crossing the finish line with the biggest smile on her face, #doing things. And then we have customers going to Switzerland with their group of friends and like visiting this crazy mountain, and that group having like the time of their life at the top of the mountain, #doing things. Or a girl in Austin doing kind of her daily routine of yoga routine in her room at home, and it's #doing things. So things that are like, spectacle and kind of crazy doing things activities, and then kind of your everyday routine. All of this has created this very like approachable way that you can see yourself participating in it, and therefore people have really been inspired and rallied around this simple call to action of doing things. It's been really cool.
So many young entrepreneurs always have to deal with raising capital and finding what we call smart capital. But a lot of them have not been in venture capitalist room like you have, and family offices, whoever you think are the strategic partners. Bring us in there. Maybe give us a little bit of a flavor of you walking in the room, kind of describe the room. Who are you with? Usually who are you talking to? And kind of give us your first 45 seconds on how you would start a meeting like this.
I have a funny story. So when I went to raise our first Series A round, the night before I had been on the West Side Highway jogging. This guy comes the other way with a dog, and I essentially get clotheslined by this dog and hit the ground. The next day I wake up, I'm going to raise money. I have this huge black eye, and I'm like, holy shit, what am I going to do? Like, how am I ever going to get
How's this gonna help me?
$13 million from a VC?
Wow.
With this black eye. And then it dawned on me, and I like kind of this tip as well, like every crisis, never waste a crisis. Every crisis can be an opportunity. And so I said, this could be cool. The doing things girl has a black eye, raises money doing things.
Doing things, yeah.
And we got that money. Yeah. But I think like what was really clear to me then was like conveying kind of this I'm going to get there no matter what kind of personality trait was super important, and the black eye helped. They looked at me and they're like, she's strong, she's tough, she's living what she's preaching or making product and a community around. And it was memorable. So that was kind of early on what was important, but that definitely wasn't planned. Again, just like launching myself into it, there were conversations that really sucked, and I'd walk away with my tail between my legs, having been told, no way, there's no room for this. And I kept trying, and then ended up with General Catalyst and David Fiacco, the partner there, him really believing in this vision to build the #1 recreation brand. He's a doing things connoisseur. And so finding that match in terms of passions was super, super important. But it's just trying and figuring out what really matches in terms of personality.
And how many people in the room? And would you literally start today? Is Series A? I'm trying to raise 13 million. And you would start like that?
Let me remember. I have founder amnesia. I don't know if you guys do, but my team.
I wish I had that. But
Yeah, no, that's same.
My team jokes about it. I'm like, I don't remember.
Yeah, I blocked it all out.
But I remember going to General Catalyst to secure this deal, and they brought in like everybody and their mother from their team. So they had their partners in there.
Men or women?
Both.
Okay.
And they had people from their office. So I think David was like punking me or seeing like if I could get through. So this was literally a room with me pitching for the Series A with 20 something people, which was different than, usually it's 5 with a partner or 2 and then some analysts.
is this David Crane?
David Fiacco from
Okay.
General Catalyst.
Got
The partner meeting is the rite of passage. I think
Right.
there's really something to passing the partner meeting.
It's intimidating.
Very intimidating.
I'm always bring a ton of extra deodorant because I'm like,
100%. I am 100%. Brag a little bit. Like you've talked about, hey, we can be the #1 recreation brand.
Yeah.
You know, at Barstool Sports, I'm always like, it's us against the world.
Yeah.
We're up versus everyone. But people ask me the question of like, well, have you gotten there? Like, where are you on the journey? So where are you on the journey?
Right. That's a good question. I think this is a good kind of distinction. Something happened and something clicked. I used to be like, we're building the next Nike. And then about a year or 2 ago, I was like, no, we aren't. We're building the next OV. And so that's something that's really important to me as we hire, particularly experienced leadership to the team, is that no matter what your experience, you're coming and you're starting as a beginner at OV. And so we're really going back to that rule around create your own rules and create your own playbook. And that's something that I guess just instinctually is in me. Like, I don't want to do it the way others have. At this point, we had, I think one of the proudest moments was having this New Yorker article come out a few weeks back. It's way too long to read. It's like, I don't know, 6,000 words or something. It's crazy. But that, from a cultural standpoint, really felt like it balanced, or was more mission-driven. And I think, for me, I tend to think more mission-driven, but we've been awful lucky in that from a business and kind of bottom line perspective, it's working out as well. For me, ultimately, like, we want to get the most amount of people moving in the world, and so the #1 kind of key metric is how many more people are moving in the world. But it's going really well. Like, we are growing like crazy. We have 9 stores, 5 more coming. We're predominantly online, but what we've found is opening stores and all of kind of this, what I call recreational activity happening offline, is key to our growth strategy. So our strategy is activate offline, amplify through digital and social. There's so many companies popping up today that are just like hammering through Facebook and Instagram. Those companies are getting rich, but there's got to be another kind of way to grow coming. And so we're finding that offline is super important to our new customer and growth strategy.
So we have a mutual friend of ours and a mentor of mine, Mickey Drexler. So Mickey, the former, for our listeners, former CEO of Gap and J. Crew, and sat on the board at Apple and was very good friends with Steve Jobs before he passed. Tell us a little bit about your relationship, how that came together. And he's a big supporter, not only of Outdoor Voices, but a big supporter of you.
Yes, he's been awesome. He joined as our chairman, I guess, 1.5 years ago. And I think the coolest thing about Mickey, he's hilarious and really fun to work with. You never know what kind of crazy thing is going to come out of his mouth. But for me, going at this the first time, he's been really helpful from a pattern recognition perspective. So I think he's in his 70s. He's been doing this for a good 50 years, like particularly around people. He's very quick to like assess, like, you want them on your team, you don't, you know? And okay, there's something potentially going wrong in this case. Like, he has some kind of point of reference that's been really helpful. So pattern recognition plus personality has been awesome. He actually flew down to Austin when we were first meeting and looked at our first store, which is in Austin. It's this little like 800 square foot house in a neighborhood. And he looked at it and he's like, holy shit, this is the worst possible retail location in the entire world. And could be right, but it's been very successful for us. But it's been funny between the two of us. Like, he's gone about it one way, and it's been fun to like ping pong off. Hey, that's a different strategy,
a different way of
working.
doing it. Yep.
And so it's very high, high personality and high energy, which is extremely fun.
How did he find you?
Yeah, I was going to say, how did you woo each other?
This is funny. So when I was first starting out, I was selling to different kind of wholesalers just to start to get the word out. And J. Crew approached us and actually bought our first 11,000 units. And that was huge because prior to that, I was producing like 300 at a time, little batches. And so they really were the ones to kind of put us on the map initially. So I knew them from there. And then we had this funny kind of happening probably a year and a half later when they made a product that looked very similar. And I emailed him like, what? We were part of like your team. And then I got this hilarious kind of email back from him. And that's really when we became friends. And then we had the opportunity to get him more involved.
Did they keep selling the product?
No, he handled it beautifully. I don't remember, but it was kind of funny because you wouldn't expect out of me emailing him like, "What the hell, Mickey?" for us to then move on,
make something happen.
Hey, come on!
Like,
it worked out. Yeah.
I can remember going to see Mickey Drexler, and he had the intercom at J. Crew, and he just would talk to everyone over the intercom. Just like anyone, at any time, anywhere. It was
in the
amazing.
bathroom.
It didn't matter. You were getting summoned. It's a reality show.
Quick break in the interview to talk to you about our friends from Roman. Erectile dysfunction is more common than you might think. 52% of men over 40 will experience erectile dysfunction at some point, and about 75% of those men don't seek treatment. With Roman, you get an expert medical care for ED right in the comfort and privacy of your own home. Everything is online, so it's convenient and discreet to contact a doctor about prescription medication. Getting started is simple. Just go to getroman.com/corp and complete an online visit with your medical history and symptoms. A licensed physician will evaluate your online visit and let you know within 24 hours if medication is right for you. If prescribed by the doctor, Roman delivers genuine medication right to your door with free 2-day shipping. Just go to getroman.com/corp to get a free online visit and free 2-day shipping. That's getroman.com/corp to get started with a free online visit. getroman.com/corp. Go right now, guys. getroman.com/corp, and you can get started with a free online visit and free 2-day shipping. getroman.com/corp. Back to Ty Haney.
Talk a little bit about where you go from here. You have a great board. You've hired industry execs, and you've incorporated them into the OV culture, which I think is one of the single hardest things to do, and where you deserve so much credit. What's next?
Yeah. So the first 5 years have been all about investing in and kind of dialing in the brand message and the positioning and kind of making sure that when people come to OV, they love and have affection for OV, and there's that emotional connection to it, right? And so at this point, we have a pretty sizable group of people that essentially would buy anything we put out or show up to any event. Sure. And so I think that's been the focus, is like make this very potent. From a business perspective, that means there's the customer lifetime value is intact and strong, so people will repeat, and essentially right now it's like a subscription business with our core customer. So we have that, and now we're on a mission to drive mind share. So in different markets we'll be popping up this year, and then popping up for us is really event first, so field marketing first and community first, and for the markets that really do work well for us, then we go into them with a store. But it's all about driving mindshare around Outdoor Voices, what we stand for, and then getting people doing things every day with us.
How do you look at your contemporaries? Like I look at Goop or Glossier, and you're somewhat in the same neighborhood with a very different point of view. But who do you look to in not necessarily your specific space, but in e-tail and direct-to-consumer? Yeah,
I think Emily is a good friend from Glossier, and there is definitely commonality between our brands. I think we both have gone after a very young consumer and have really worked to kind of win their hearts and also make the consumer kind of the voice of the brand. So it's in our name, Outdoor Voices, our name comes from when you're little and your mom's like, use your inner voice. It's like, hell no. Bring back that little kid, youthful spirit and approach things with unbounded enthusiasm. For us, we're really focused on building this editorial platform that becomes kind of a place for people of our community's voices to be heard. So there's very much with our brand the spirit of activism, and we want to be able to create a place where we can show what other people in the community care about, whether it be environmentalism, obesity, mental health, etc. With Emily, she's really built this awesome beauty brand really by prioritizing the customer's voice. So all of their product is really developed by feedback from the customer. So there's that similarity, and we both very much value kind of the peer relationship, having kind of been trailblazers, I guess, with direct-to-consumer brands at this stage. Whitney from Bumble lives in Austin, which is awesome, and she's also a great friend. Her mission to empower women to make the first move is really resonated as well. We've been lucky, and it's just kind of funny. There's this group of kind of young women that have started companies in different spaces, and it's awesome to kind of be able to share the wins and the losses and kind of work together as a team to get better.
I love that.
Yeah, and it's amazing what low percentage of women playing this kind of venture space is fascinating. So both you and Erika are doing some amazing things, and speaking from a father to two beautiful little girls, young girls, and a single mother, I really appreciate that. So Ty, VC firms like to turbocharge companies like yours, but they also demand big growth, which creates great pressures for you. How do you manage to maintain that kind of small company feel and your voice?
Yeah, it's something that is top of mind right now, because you look around and there's these companies that grow like crazy over a period of 3 to 5 years. But what I've noticed is, for me, I don't have the same affection for a company that gets too big too fast. It's like oversaturated, and you don't, it's almost like a person. Like, you want that relationship to develop at the right cadence. And if you're in the room with somebody every day, you might get sick of them. So I've really thought about how we temper what's the right growth, and temper kind of this demand to go as fast as you possibly can, pedal to the metal, with the mindset of let's build a healthy, sustainable business that's here for the long term, right? And kind of one thing we've focused on is balancing Austin kind of local investors that really are like in it for the long run, with finding VCs that also are, but they both, have different things to add, and kind of, I would say we're lucky because in our case the VCs are in it for the long run, but there are way too many companies that are being pressured to grow for the sake of growth that aren't going to be here 10 plus years from now.
Yeah, just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Right.
And that's a hard balance. Also, I think that, you know your brand best, and your culture best, and your community best, and communities are sensitive things.
Right.
They don't want to be oversold to. They don't want to be manipulated, and that's hard, I think, to explain to people who just see numbers and money.
I just think too many VCs are thinking short term, and it makes founders think short term, and that's not in the best interest of building a community. So
on your community, has your community ever made you cringe? Like, have you ever?
Interesting. In what way?
In any way.
Well, that's a really good question. I think what's made me really proud is, as we've posted just pictures of women doing things, what they've really rallied around and resonated with, or pictures of women with cellulite that aren't retouched, and that got picked up by Today Show, etc. So the realness and kind of the authenticity, you can tell people are craving. In terms of cringe, I need to think about that. It's a really good question.
What do you think about that? Tell us what's been the worst business advice you've ever gotten, and what's the best one?
I think people are always telling you to take a ton of advice, right? And listen to others. And I think you need to be open and curious, but at the end of the day, you own the decision. For me as a CEO, I had to learn kind of the hard way that at the end of the day, regardless of who gave me that advice, ultimately it comes down to me owning my decision. So I've been a lot more, I guess, deliberate in where I seek advice, and a lot more specific, because particularly as a beginner founder and CEO, you're impressionable. And so the last 5 years have really been around understanding the right advice and kind of asking for it in a way that it actually is relevant to kind of what you're trying to solve for.
I love that. How different are you now from 5 years ago, and how so?
I think crazily different. I would love to go back and kind of see the progression, but I still wake up every day with this crazy drive to get better, like many of us do. So it's hard to recognize that in yourself, but I think if I take a moment, I'm wildly different, more confident too.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
How does OV? How does winning look at the end? Is it a public exit? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's going public. I really believe that OV is going to be in the top 5 activewear brands over the next 10 years. And I very much believe that our mission deserves to be a standalone multi-billion-dollar company that has impact on a society today that frankly needs an antidote. There's a lot of negativity in the world, obesity, mental health, that for me, my belief is that movement solves a lot of that. So we're on, the path forward is to be a standalone multi-billion-dollar company over the next 10 years.
How do you see so much of depression and so much of anxiety seems to come from social media, which is really
crazy.
Where your brand plays out, though. Our brands play out on social media. How do you balance the doing things versus posting yourself doing things culture, which we're somewhat into?
Totally, yeah. We ran a big campaign called Get Outside last, fall, and it was essentially days that would just be like, show up here, turn off your phones, get outside. And so we at a lot of different moments throughout our history have only posted in the morning as inspiration and then let it be. And I think it's important. I think the number one kind of scary thing about social media is that you're comparing yourself to others, and that for me even just is a sickening feeling that you can't really get around. So it's something we need to be conscious of, but I would say Instagram's a tool to amplify for us, but we very much prioritize the in real life activities. Tomorrow we're launching a shoe with an event called LSD with Outdoor Voices. It's not LSD, it's long, slow distances of walking. But for us, you'll see over the coming years, that offline experience is weighted much more heavily than what's amplified through online. But it is a way for people to stay connected to the community and find inspiration from it, regardless of where they are in the world.
When you look at Instagram, influencers are one of the rare professions where women out-earn men. Mm-hmm. I mean, what does that tell you about the consumers? They're listening, and there's loyal fans, and we see, particularly with the micro-influencers, they can really move the needle from purchase behaviors. And we were lucky enough to be in this Instagram beta shopping experience, but that's going to be something big time because it takes the friction out of having even to go to the Outdoor Voices site to buy something, it's one-stop shop. It's like the Amazon, just speed and efficiency. In terms of, we've seen the kind of influencer thing work really well. And for us, just making sure that we're working with folks that have influence that very much align to our vision is important, but it's lucrative for both them and for us.
And how do you vet them? How do you vet them? Yeah,
we have a team, and this woman, Megan, runs it. She's been with OV for 3+ years. She actually, I think, started in our store and is just intimately well versed in the brand, and so there's kind of a committee that vets who gets onboarded into this recreationalist group of ambassadors, and the key is variety. So people that were ex-athletes or are athletes today, to singers, to business people, to fitness folks, but that's where we're very different in kind of our recreationalist group to others. I would say it's not you're an athlete first, but rather you're something first, but have a insane interest in being active every day.
So I want to talk about dating because our listeners are really intrigued about what you think about this whole process. You mentioned Bumble.
Yeah.
And the founder, obviously, from Austin. Is it your thought in today's world, 2019, that if a woman likes a man, you're fine with them making the first move?
Oh, hell yeah. I made the first move with my boyfriend.
Tell us about that.
It wasn't through Bumble, but
Was it
Oh,
in
you in
real
Bumble?
life or was it
I've
on the
never
internet?
been on
We
Bumble.
just woke up.
But I love Bumble and I love Whitney.
Good. On to the dating section.
I saw this guy that I liked, and I went into his DMs and I said, "Let's hang."
Oh, you DM'd him?
I DM'd him.
I
Wait,
love
wait,
that.
Wait, wait,
I
Okay,
love
this
that.
is
I
gonna
love
get
Of
really
course,
good.
we should make the
So
first
you
move.
liked him? Now was it like?
Well, I
were you
didn't
like-
know he was hot. That's all.
She liked what he looked like on
Yeah.
Instagram? Yeah.
But was this a first time, or you kind of had been kind of
Never met the guy.
never met the guy? But you've been kind of checking him out for a week, a
No,
month.
not even. It wasn't very
Single post?
It was
That's a
instant.
high ROI.
Instant. Yeah.
pretty instant.
Build a good brand.
Great ROI. So
But-
walk us through it. I like this guy. Let me just go to the DM.
I think I like this guy.
Tell us what you
Could.
tell
No,
us-
no. This guy's cute. Let's
This
be,
guy's
let's be
cute.
clear.
Not even hot. Okay.
Yeah, this
So
guy's cute.
What did you write on DM?
Let's hang. Simple.
That's it?
Straightforward.
Very
Let's
forward.
hang.
Wow. How long did it take for him to
Oh, it
respond?
was quick. I lucked out.
And he said what? When? Where?
We went right into the logistics.
Send nudes. Just kidding.
I love it.
Not in
Not
this
yet.
case.
Where did you go?
This was in Austin. He's a country singer. And we went to this little pizza joint called Bufalina. And I got there and he had 2 glasses of wine. He was really hot. And I still was like, okay. I had been in a 5-year relationship and was like, okay, let me,
Let's have some fun.
He looked like a hot rebound, but he was more than that. It ended up to be the case, which is fun.
That's a single best.
How about have you ever had a guy when you were single reach out and said, "Let's hang"? And what's your response?
Yeah,
Yeah?
of course.
Oh, I'm sure. She must get hit up on DMs all the time.
A lot. How often? How often?
I mean,
That's a great. You're right.
A
How
lot.
often?
I'm
how
sure.
often?
Yeah. How often? Today.
I mean, they're looking for friendship, I believe, today.
No.
I love it. I love it. That's very good.
I'm
Very,
like,
very
come
millennial.
come to Zumba class with
Yeah.
us. You like doing things?
I'm not going to hook up with you, but I have a
yeah.
great
Erika,
pair of pants.
Would you do that? Would you make the first move if you were single and you were?
I'm from a different generation. I don't know.
You don't know.
I think I would.
Hell yeah.
I'm an IRL girl. Like, I'd want to meet someone. If they're funny, I would be in.
What was that?
In real life.
Or what?
IRL.
What's
In
that
real
mean?
life, Alex.
Real life.
Like
Okay.
human
I
interaction.
love it. I love it.
But
No,
it's much
I-
easier not to have to go up to them at the bar. You just have
Okay,
to
but
DM
how about if
them.
you were at a bar? I feel like
Oh,
you're
for
more
sure.
of a bar
Yeah,
woman
more
than
like
you
a
are
bar-
DM.
Thank you,
right?
Alex. Yep.
No, you would approach.
Yeah, I'm
right?
like, oh, I think you're funny and cute or whatever. I would
No,
approach
but,
them.
This is a real
physically.
serious question because our listeners are thrilled that you're talking about this. Would you actually walk up to them or
For
maybe
sure.
send them a drink
No, I would not send them a drink. I would definitely walk up to them.
and say what?
Say, what's up? Let's
That's it?
hang. I would say,
Let's
let's
hang.
hang.
That's the perfect.
All right, your turn.
Well, I have one more, and you can ask me whatever you want. Well, actually not. But here's my question: when is a guy proper? Because it gets to a line where you get kind of cheesy, right?
Yeah,
Do you like a guy maybe to send you a drink or actually come over?
Oh no, don't send a drink.
agree.
Okay.
Definitely.
Well, you don't like drinking?
I love drinking.
Oh.
I live in Austin. There's a lot of margaritas. But
Love
no,
Austin.
you've got to come over.
And say what?
Yeah, you got to man up
Let's
and
hang.
come over.
Let's hang. Well,
Let's hang is
Let's
perfect.
hang. That's the theme of this show.
Let's,
Yeah.
we got to trademark that.
We do.
Let's hang.
I'm
It's
right on
good.
that. Yep.
Let's hang. Jeff, my lawyer's here. He's
Yep.
in the background.
Jeff?
Great. I am great. I'm really excited about that.
What would you do?
I'm more on the shy side.
Yeah.
And I'm always like the guy that sits in the corner that's kind of shy. But I gotta say, I'm not single, but if I was single, I think a woman being more aggressive and assertive is something that I think is highly attractive.
Yeah.
And someone that stands up for themselves. I like someone that has some levity. Levity always plays really well. And then someone that doesn't take themselves too seriously.
I
Yeah.
like that too.
Yeah.
I think the sending a drink is just on the titch too cheesy
Yeah.
side.
I
You're
agree.
like, be funny and be actually curious
Kind
about
of
me.
douchey, kind of?
Yeah, it's a little douchey.
Yeah.
Also,
What-
a doing things date I think is really nice.
Doing what?
Good
A
plug
doing
for the
things
product.
date. So right? We've
Like
been
what? Like
doing
water
things.
rafting?
Take her to the putt golf place, whatever, or go jet skiing. I love jet skiing.
How about a Yankee game?
Or like walking a
I
dog.
like the Mets.
Oh God!
And you're
This
admitting
thing
that.
just went south.
You are hardcore.
Yikes!
Yikes.
Anyway,
Really? You like the Mets from Boulder, Colorado?
Yeah, what's wrong?
I
I
lived
mean,
here
that-
for 10 years.
Oh my
And you chose the
goodness.
Mets?
I know.
Who was your favorite player?
Syndergaard,
Oh, I get it. I get.
Cute guy on the
By the
internet.
way,
right?
you can make something happen. He's a great guy.
I have a cowboy,
Yeah, she's not single.
Oh, that's
anymore.
right. That's right.
but I have friends, that would want to hang.
Interesting. Okay. Long life. Long life.
I'm not even sure where we go from
You're
here.
shocked.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know where to go. I mean, I do have my lightning rod, but
What's your advice to young people? Love life, starting out,
Yeah.
making it happen.
Right now is not about to know what you want to do for the rest of your life. Like, say F you to the rules, the should nots, your parents' expectations, your own expectations. Like, go try a lot of shit. Learn what you like, learn what you don't. I think life's about the first times. It's cool to be an expert, but it's more cool to like begin at things. I'm really inspired by my sixth grade teacher told me like be a Renaissance person, and there's something really cool about it. Like go learn about a lot, have a lot of breadth, and then you'll find something that you're passionate about, and you can go and develop depth there. But at the very least, you make for a more interesting plane ride companion. You know, so. I very much believe in that. Be a Renaissance person.
You know, when your sixth grade teacher tells you be a Renaissance person, like for me, I'm going to bring some texture to that. For me, it was Cal Ripken.
Mm-hmm.
It was, you know, it was Magic Johnson. It's people that I admired in the sports community. In business, it was Warren Buffett. Was there someone out there that you looked at and you go, boy, I would like to have a life like that?
At this point, it's Yvon Chouinard from Patagonia. And I'm a huge fan. I also think being a fan is awesome. And people people don't necessarily like say that openly, but being a fan rules. And I think
being a fan is the best.
I love
it's
that.
the coolest thing. Like it helps you practice appreciation and gratefulness, and like it's cool to be obsessed with people, you know?
I agree. And like awkwardly say it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
so cool.
People
It's
hold
also
back too much.
emotion. Like it's
emotion.
not rational. You're
Right.
just into something. I mean, clearly as a Mets fan, like you're ride or
Yeah,
die.
There's passion. That's the
Yeah,
definition of
not much
passion.
else, but
I do love passion.
go ahead, Ty.
Tell us a little bit. I don't know where this conversation goes after the dating. I don't know if we can do any better. But I do want to ask you about health and wellness. Walk us through a little bit of what you do on the working out side, but also tell us a little bit about what makes you happy every day.
Mm-hmm. I'm the type of person that it's my medication to sweat every day, and it's really not a choice. Like we have this thing at Outdoor Voices called Change the Chemistry, and it's driven from me sitting in a room and like getting frustrated and needing to like literally create endorphins and sweat to get my mind right. So I've always just been that type of person that's just fired up. Like I'm at 100 of 0 to 100 in terms of fire.
Always at 100?
Always at 100. I'm a pain in the ass, so probably very annoying to be around for some of my team. But
And
exercising,
positive. You seem exceedingly positive.
yeah. I have
love
a
that.
totally possible mindset, which
Yep.
ends up being optimistic.
Do you ever get mad?
Hell yeah. But
Like
I'm
swear?
quick to
Like-
I'm quick to resolve, and I think that's important as well. But for me, exercise is all about what it does for my mind. So today, in Austin, I love the trail. I jog 3 miles. I tried a half marathon once, hated it, still love jogging, won't ever go more than 3 miles. So it's like a very moderate amount, but it's sustainable. And I find that that's super key, is like not doing something to such an extreme that you burn out, but finding like little routines that can be patched together to really incorporate that movement on a daily basis.
Do you think that's true for your company too?
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. I like that. That's right.
That's cool.
And Matthew McConaughey's in Austin too, and I
Another cute guy on the internet.
yeah.
He's hot.
He's hot.
Very hot.
He
Do
very
you
much
hang?
believes in sweat every day.
Have you hung out?
I have with Camila. Not with
She's
him.
also a babe.
She's awesome.
Yeah.
She's great. There's so many cool people in Austin. You guys gotta come
Austin's
hang.
a great town.
Is there anyone, if you can just curate any dinner, people alive,
Yeah.
who would be your 4? And you're the 4th.
That was the segue we needed.
That was
Excellent
segue.
job. Yeah.
Segue? Yeah.
I have not met Oprah. I really want to. Elon, Harry Styles. Shit, I need 5.
Go
6.
ahead.
You guys.
Keep
and
going.
me.
You make the rules.
Yeah, there's 6 at the dinner right now.
I love it. Well, I'm going to give a little lightning round.
Great.
And then, Erika, you can jump on when you're ready. God, that sounded terrible. Jesus,
Just go with it.
It's going
Yeah,
backwards.
keep going.
What song, I'm getting worse now. What song do you sing in the shower when there's nobody around?
When there's no one around. The Dancing Queen.
What apps are open on your iPhone right now?
Dominoes. Oh shit.
Book or Kindle?
You go.
Yeah.
Book. I'm obsessed with The Alchemist. I Still
Oh, The
haven't
Alchemist
finished
is
it.
a great story.
It's
You
a great story.
haven't finished it?
I have like 10 pages left. I've got to
Great book.
do that.
That is the lesson for young entrepreneurs.
Yes, it's
they're-
so
The
good.
world will show you the way.
You'll read it probably 3 times. You keep going. It's
Yeah,
just
that's
go
what I
back
think
to
too.
it.
Yeah.
That was a good question.
Instagram or Snapchat?
Instagram.
Cats or dogs?
Oh my gosh, dogs
Dogs,
only.
obviously. Are you a dog person?
I love dogs.
Okay,
I love
good.
animals.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Me too.
Coffee or tea?
Tea.
Why?
I've only drank coffee and it's a new thing for me, so don't push me on it.
Okay,
I'm still trying.
You're a young CEO. You'll start drinking a lot more
You got
coffee.
a long way to go, girl.
Shawn Mendes or Justin Bieber?
Ooh, neither.
She's throwing Harry Styles in there, which I thought was an interesting
cool.
choice.
What's your pet peeve?
When people start with no.
Ooh, I love that one.
What do you do on your day off?
I have 2 dogs, Juice and Pony. I take them to the trail, and we go swimming at Barton Springs. And I sing.
With the
I'm
the
trying.
cowboy or no?
When he's in town, he's on tour all the time.
Wait,
That's
you're
the
a singer?
downside. No, but I just started.
You want to give us something? Give us.
Yeah,
give-
let's
give-
go.
Wee-hoo.
Oh yeah, give us one more. That was
good,
good.
right?
That was
Keep going.
great.
No, that's all.
No, one more.
I'll come.
Come
We're
on.
begging. We're begging.
It's going to help with the
Come
ROI.
on. One more.
It's just
You gotta
us.
sing with me.
Oh God. Our listeners would cancel our app.
I've only had one voice lesson so far, so I'll submit a video.
Okay, I
once
love that. You're having voice
Fantastic.
lessons. So what are you trying to be great at? What's the next skill you want to develop?
I'm 30 years old and have no idea what I want to do in my life. I could be an Olympic curler potentially. Actually, I'm sure that might be really hard. Or a singer. I think being a singer would be cool.
You'd be a gorgeous singer.
Thank
You'd
you.
look the
But
part.
would I sound good?
I mean,
Let's not
people
let that get in
for
the way. Would you say you're someone snow, mountain, or ocean?
I'm a mountain girl. Grew up in Boulder.
So Ty's hungry. It's 2 a.m. You go to the fridge. What's your late night snack?
This is strange, but cans
question
of cans of
or the answer?
That's my answer.
whole experience.
But I like this question.
thanks for coming.
I like canned mandarin oranges, canned corn, and tuna. It's super weird.
Wow.
Together?
Nope, but just
Do you like canned olives?
nope.
I love canned olives.
You do?
Yeah. Canned mandarin oranges, though.
Those are so good.
Sneakily
And the baby
great
corns?
snack. Oh, I don't like the baby corn so much. It's okay. Who would play you in a movie?
That's funny. I don't know. You tell me.
Gwyneth Paltrow.
I have gotten that Kate Upton and I look alike, but then I'm like, I'm missing something.
Kate Upton. I agree. Yeah, we're just going to leave that at that.
Yeah. What will be your last meal?
Brownies.
Your food situation is
I
just
know.
all over the
Now,
map.
I
plain
know.
brownies or loaded brownies? Just plain brownies. Okay, to be determined later. I have like just my one word, and then we can.
Yep, then we can
close
wrap.
it.
All right.
So one word. When I mention this name, give me one word that makes you think of this person. Jeff Bezos.
Cheaper Whole Foods produce right now.
Sher-
Weird. I just saw an ad for it.
Sheryl Sandberg.
Lean in.
Elon Musk.
Never be boring.
Gwyneth Paltrow.
Goop.
Phil Knight.
Phil Knight. Just do it.
If you were in a bind and you were in a foxhole, what's the one person in this world that
A
you
what?
would
A foxhole?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
what's
you're
the one person
you're in
you
the
would-
trench.
In the
Ah.
trench that you would have in a foxhole with you. Just one person.
You're going to war.
That's interesting. Arnold, did you see that video the other day?
Yeah. Okay.
That was pretty awesome.
Okay, that's a good
I
answer.
didn't see that one coming.
I didn't either.
But that's
I
great.
thought, I wasn't sure where we're
So,
going with that.
Eric, I know you want to close, but for me, I want to just say, first of all, thank you. I love what you're doing. I love your passion. I love that you lean into it. And next time you go on a jog on the West Side Highway, call A-Rod Corp because we're going to
Cool.
be your first investor.
Right on.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Thank you so much for coming. You were awesome.
Thanks for having me.